Yeah.
Hey guys, About the Mighty here, and I'm back with another Eve Echoes video. In today's video, we're back on the Fulmination test server, and we're going to be taking a look at some more ships. Today's ship is going to be the MOA-2 Guardian. Before we get started, if you do like my content, please leave a like on the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified whenever I do release new content in the future. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the MOA-2 Guardian. Alright, so the Caldari MOA-2 Guardian basically has a bunch of really cool abilities. So first off, just for a roll bonus, it gets plus 37.5% medium railgun tracking speed. This is going to help it track so much better than normal and is really cool. I like it a lot. And it can also fit those shield field modules, which is what we're going to try to put into our fit today. This ship, a lot of times you're probably going to want to use it in a group scenario with your buddies and have a lot of fun with that and giving them a lot more protection. However, we're kind of taking a look at it today as if you would fly it alone. So in those times that you're not with your friends and you just want to pal around with it. Alright, so continuing down the skills here, for Advanced Cruiser Defense upgrade, we got plus 4% shield resistances per level, which is amazing as well. It just fits into the theme of the ship of being a tanky guardian. The Advanced Cruiser Command bonus per level applies a 7.5% medium railgun damage. More damage is always great, and minus 7.5% medium railgun capacitor needed per level, so it's going to make it take less capacitor to fire each one of those shots, which, when you're trying to run a lot of tanking abilities, that could be quite effective. If you were just to get this ship out of the box, you're looking at an overall defense of 15,491 with a flight velocity of 247, a warp speed of 3 AUs, a power grid output of 707 megawatts, capacitor of 2,824 gigajoules, and a cargo hold capacity of 903. And if you weren't sold already, it's supposed to primarily be a shield tank. So, when you are out with friends and everything, I would probably recommend just putting on the regular rifled railguns. However, for taking it alone, we're going to go a little crazy, and we are going to be using the Corellium C-type medium snub-nose railguns. They're going to have an optimal range of 4.5 km with an accuracy fall-off of 6.48 km. So you're looking at basically a total of 11 km to do 50% damage. Not very far at all. Probably very hard to get into. But this ship is actually surprisingly speedy. In the mid slots, we are going to be using a mirror small shield field module, and we are going to be using a Predator Stasis web fire. Our drone of choice for today is going to be a Mark 9 Vespa. In our low slots, we have a Corellium C-type medium afterburner, 2 GIST C-type adaptive invulnerability fields, and a Pitham C-type reactive shield hardener. We also decided to go with a little bit more damage on this one, so since when you would be taking it out solo, you have the ship, you just wanted to have some fun with it by yourself, this is going to give you a little push in your DPS to help you clear things out a little bit faster. And we also have a Syntys C-type large shield booster. Okay, for the rigs. In our engineering rigs, we have a capacitor control circuit 3 with a second capacitor control circuit 3. We want to have our recharge time pretty high in this ship. We plan on using the capacitor to basically use our large booster, and this is going to help us gain that back that quicker. Overall, the capacitor lasts a little bit less with this, but I'm hoping to see some good value out of it just recharging over time. In a lot of cases, what I've noticed whenever I do this type of stuff, having the higher recharge, because I never really dip into lower capacitor already, but letting it go back up faster is going to, well, help me in my mental state. And we're also running one semiconductor memory cell 3. Okay, for our combat rigs, we are running one Railgun Burst Aerator 3 for that activation time to give us a bit more DPS there as well. And we have a Core Defense Capacitor Safeguard 3. This is basically going to reduce the capacitor needed in order to run each one of those reps of that shield booster. And a Core Defense Charge Economizer 3, which is going to give us an additional 30% boost to the amount that we boost. Okay, so this entire ship, its total offense is sitting at 473.18 if you haven't looked at that already. 434.74 of that is coming from the turrets, and 38.44 is coming from the drones. Its overall defense without anything active is 25,149 effective hit points, with 8,168 going into the shields, 5,676 going into the armor, and 5,755 going into the structure. The structure all around has 33% resistances across the board. Its armor, if you get there, you're probably in trouble already, but it does have a 50% EM resistance, 45% thermal, 25% kinetic, and 10% explosive. For the shields, the bread and butter of this, you're looking at an EM resistance of 20%, thermal of 42, kinetic 52, and explosive of 60. Pretty good resistances out of the box there. Its capacitor is sitting at 2 minutes and 12 seconds, minus 26.07 gigajoules, or minus 76.1%. Capacitor capacity is at 4,871 gigajoules with a recharge time of 355 seconds. Overall, the total power grid on this ship is 1,060, and I have used 731 of that 1,060. For its targeting, it has 15 points. Scan resolution is 303. Signature radius is 104, and it can lock a maximum of 6 targets. And as far as navigation goes, like I said, it's a pretty zippy ship. It's actually 358.15 with a warp prep time of 4.7 and a warp speed of 3. No warp stability in this particular fit. Okay, so that's the fit on the ship. That's what we're going to take on today and see how it does. And we'll see you guys in the mission. Okay, so here we are outside of the encounter, and we're going to go ahead and do our usual that we do. We're going to activate all of our defensive abilities and our afterburner, and we're going to take a look and see where we're at. So first off, the speed gets up to 945.18, which, like I said, is pretty speedy for a tanky boy. And our defense, which is what everybody is probably curious about, we have an EM resistance of 72, thermal of 80, kinetic of 83, and explosive of 86 before we activate the precious shield field module. If we do activate that, it is going to blow up our signature, make us pretty easy to hit, but our defenses are going to be sitting at 88, 91, 93, and 94 respectively. Pretty impressive. Okay, so let's go ahead and get out into the anomaly and see how this ship is going to perform. We are going to warp right in at 0. Now this is just a hard encounter. It is one of the active news missions that you can actually do in the game currently. And here we are. And we're just going to go ahead and activate this for the entire time. We are going to set orbit. And we're going to have ourselves a little bit of fun. We're going to hit him with a lockdown. Now we should be doing about 50% damage here. We're going to start firing, and we're going to take a look at our damage. We're doing 562 DPS with our guns, and that is hot, of course. So I've seen worse. Okay. We're going to move over to the next target here. So we've got some pretty respectable hits going on here. There's probably no reason at all that we actually need to run the extra resistances on here. I just kind of wanted to show you the ship is going to get shot when that happens, but it takes next to no damage. It's pretty cool, actually. Whizzing around at 800. It's definitely not able to keep the tightest of orbits here, but that's okay. We are actually going to try to move in a bit closer here. Since it is having trouble keeping that tight orbit, we definitely want to be closer to the 4 km than not to apply that full damage if we can. Slow you down. Alright, so our DPS is off now, but we are still applying a pretty healthy dose of damage every time that we fire to this test drone here. We have a lot of zeros, so we're actually speed tanking a lot of this, even with our signature radius being blown up 500%. That's interesting to say the least. Now this thing is not going to win any type of competitions for taking out things quickly, that's for sure. However, it can definitely take some stuff out, and it can do it relatively safely and securely. Okay, set him into orbit. Now I do think I am going to change this auto orbit to 3, since this ship does have a bit of a time actually staying in orbit around stuff. And we'll hit it with the web so we can approach and get into that orbit a lot quicker than we need to. So as these guys fire on us, our defense still holding strong. 98% kinetic resistance. 98%. Yeah. That's kind of crazy. So yeah, things are definitely going to hit us. It's not going to hurt though. Alright, let's get into orbit with the next guy. And lock him down as well. As you can see here, it does look like we're holding strong in the high 70s as far as our capacitor goes. But again, we're not winning any type of rewards for killing quickly. So all of these resistances are pretty crazy. I do think it's quite fun, especially if you've got a team of people that you're working with. Increasing their resistances, having a guardian around is always appreciated. Okay, so next we're going to move over this guy here. We're just going to do a solid approach on him until we get into range. We are starting to take enough damage here now where it does mean something. We have a little bit of red on there. And remember, even at 11 km we're doing half damage. So we're going to hit the orbit button there now, and we're going to start firing. Okay, so we were able to tear through the shield pretty quickly. And it looks like this ship just overall is going to go down pretty fast, actually. So that's very helpful for us. Help us get to that next wave, which we're basically just going to sit here on 0. We don't care. Well, not that much people would in news missions. Let's get these little ships locked up. Let's just go on a full-on approach. Here, actually. Set orbit, lock them up, focus fire, and we're going to put the to the test, really, if this tracking is going to help us hit these faster targets. It looks like we're just fine. Okay. We've still got quite a ways to go before we're in range of this guy here, but that'll be okay. Alright, we're at the 50% damage range. And I'm letting him shoot me. Okay. And the second guy is dead. Now moving in on the third. We will go ahead and activate our damage. And let's use our web. And keep this guy stopped a little bit. So I know what you're thinking. You brought the shield booster. Why aren't you using it? We will. We will. Just gonna wait a little bit longer. We're in no threat yet. We're still at 77% shield. Okay. Let's actually move over and put in orbit this guy that's closest over here. One of them has gone out to 20 km. We're going to focus fire. And we're looking good. So our bubble's just moving around here. Using a lot of unnecessary fuel most likely, but hey. What we really wanted to see is where we're going to get. And I think our resistances probably have plateaued out by now. And we're seeing where they're going to be at for fighting these guys. Yeah, so we're sitting at thermal 93, kinetic 95, explosive 92, and our EM has dropped to 85. So all of our resistances are in the 90s, which is phenomenal. We are now down to 69 shields. Nice. And we're going to keep going. So again, like I said, we're definitely not going to win any type of rewards for speed. But we are relatively safe. Next, we're going to take out this battle cruiser. Telos. He has a tier 8 Telos. Still not in any danger. Everything is a-okay. And we're holding strong in the high 70 percentages. Okay. This guy's got a little bit more hit points, but no big deal. I think our drone's in a wider orbit than we are. Alright, we're going to move in on the last target now. We're going to start off with an approach just to get through that little bit faster. And then we will move into our attack formation. Let's web. Let's activate. Let's fire. Let's orbit. And we are looking in a good spot. Our ship is doing great. 64% is where we're sitting at now with our shields. Just blasting with our little snub-nosed railguns. Shredding the competition while they're trying to figure out what went wrong. And we're going to be moving into the last wave. Okay. Let's put that guy into orbit. He is going to be the smallest of the bunch and also probably the most difficult to hit. So we're going to try to deal with him first. Next we will tackle this guy. Our shields are sitting at a cool 61%. Well, I guess even with our tracking, we are having a little bit of trouble at these speeds. And we can always slow down. Matter of fact, let's stop. And just approach this guy at much slower speeds. We're sitting at 57 now. Things are starting to apply their damage a lot more fully because we have slowed down. Okay. And once we get to 50%, we will go ahead and start using our shield booster. And we'll see how long it takes us to get back up to full. Oh, we can activate that. Moving on to the next, and let's take a look here. We're going to activate the large shield booster now. We're back up to 64% with 1 pulse. 2 pulses puts us at 78. 3 at 91. And 4 we topped out. We're at 64% capacitor, which is now going up quite quickly. Let's go ahead and activate the afterburner again. Most likely you wouldn't have it off. We're already up to 66. Okay. Now our capacitor is hovering around that 60, 68, 69%. Nice. It's happening a lot with this ship. 71. So it's going back up already into the low 70s from where it was, healing up that quickly. And so the capacitor comes back on the ship very quickly with the way that we have it set up here. And it's able to make use of all of this defense pretty much all the time. So even though it is not cap stable, leaving everything running, it regenerates that cap so fast it practically is cap stable, if you know what I mean. And again, not winning any competitions when it comes to killing quickly. But still very much can do so. And if Guardian ships are your type of ship and that's what you want to fly into, this is kind of top tier damage what you're looking at if you decided you wanted to take this thing out solo. Ain't gonna get much better than this unless you kit it out for complete damage. And then really, why are you in a Guardian? So this particular Guardian ship would be able to apply a lot of damage. It would be a great ship to have in addition to a brawling team. It will, especially a brawling team that's using shields, of course. You would be able to up their resistances as well as your own, fly around on them and apply some okay damage along with them. The overall cost, relatively cheap except for the actual rigs themselves. You're probably looking at $1 billion in rigs with just these capacitor control circuits with the current market price. But you can see it doesn't really have any type of cap issues, so you could probably go with lower versions of those. Wouldn't quite be as effective, but should still work just fine. You don't necessarily need to be cap stable at 76%. And that's that. Oh, and just so you're wondering, if you do leave that on for the entire mission, I was using fuel. I had 1,000 on me. And I'm down to 945. And so it's using probably about 50, 60 of those per mission. What you're looking at is that's about, depending on your market price, I don't know. Actually, I don't know how much they're selling for right now. I think last time I bought them, they were close to 3,000 a piece. But that's it. That's the MOA 2 Guardian. So tell me what you think. How would you fit yours? What would you change on this ship? What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it? Also, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.